Hey, sisters in season. So I was thinking to myself, I need to start doing these Bible studies again. And I'm thinking like, well, what is something like a topic or a series or something that I can do? Because when I had originally started this, remember it was the women of the Bible, and we went through like the whole thing, and it was just like the women of the Bible. I'm like, well, what else can we do that will be like long and drawn out and it'll last a while? Because it can be hard sometimes to figure out what to do every week or every other week or a couple times a week. You know what I mean? I have respect for these pastors that preach a service every Sunday, that do like morning service, the regular service, evening service. Like, I have so much respect for them. Yeah, I was thinking, I read many books of the Bible, but I have not read every single book in the Bible. And I feel like this will hold me accountable to kind of read through the Bible. I remember specifically the book of Numbers, and the book of Numbers was really hard for me to read because at the beginning of that book, it's all like, this was 5,000 whatever. And it talked about like all these numbers. It is called the book of Numbers. So it was just so hard for me to read. So I'm like, I'm just not reading the book of Numbers, and I'm skipping it because I couldn't do it. So I'm like, this will hold me accountable. We can learn together. It's really great getting other people's perspectives, not just mine, because I don't know everything. So it'll be good to, and allows us to get together and get into God's word. And so that's what inspired me to kind of do this. Starting right from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, that's where I want to start reading today. But before we get there, let's start in prayer. So God can lead and guide me. Dear Heavenly Father, please help lead and guide me through this Bible study, Lord. Thank you for allowing us this time and allowing us to be able to get together and talk about your word and read the stories and read what happened. Lord, please help give us wisdom, help give us understanding. Please allow a good conversation to come from this and to allow us to grow in your word, in your love, in all of it, Lord Jesus. And in your name, I pray and give thanks to you. Amen. All right, so good start. So Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. In the beginning, I know a lot of people actually say it's not really in the beginning. It really should be in a beginning would be more appropriate. It's like in a beginning because it's not the beginning. God was there from before this beginning. So a lot of people like to say it's in a beginning. Like, this is just a beginning. It's not the beginning. That's like semantics, right? So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So now we know we have a creator. It was created. It wasn't just here. The earth was without form and void, and was darkness upon the face. Do you know that how long it took me? I read this verse over and over and over again. I'm telling you, and it didn't like hit me. I was just like, yeah, I already know God created everything. He created the earth. He did all of it, right? You're laughing, but I'm serious.
I know.
Like, have you ever?
This is why when we think let's just skim right through that part, and that's when we read it after, we're like, oh wait, what did I just read? And then you realize you really didn't catch the concept of that verse because you skimmed through it.
Exactly. And like, people, this also like gets me thinking too, when people are like, oh, I've read the Bible before, it's not for me. Yes, maybe you read the Bible, but the Bible is like a living thing. Just because you read it one time doesn't mean you're going to understand everything there is to know about the Bible. I know people who've been reading the Bible for 50 plus years, and they still have yet to uncover everything that the Bible is. Like, there is just so much information to learn and grow from. It's amazing. I was reading, so when it said in verse 2 that the earth was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. I was like, the earth was all water or something like that, right? Like, the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Like, nothing was formed yet. It was just this. And I was like, I never really noticed that. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but I never really noticed that. So anyways, going on, verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. I am going to circle back to the first day. Remember this. God first created light. The second day in verse 6. Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So a firmament, that's like the sky. It's an expanse, right? He's going to tell us what he calls the firmament, but it's an expanse. It's like the sky at this point. Like it's up and down, like he's separating the top from the bottom. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. So now the third day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. This is what got me going, because when I first read that he moved upon the face of the waters, I was like, wait, everything was just water? And it makes sense because the earth was without form. Water takes every form, right? It's like, doesn't really have a form. It's whatever the container is. Like, well, I guess it makes sense, but I never really thought of it that way. Anyways, I digress. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. The fourth day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. The first day, God created light. But the fourth day, he made the sun, the moon, the stars. But the light was already created. Going back to the first day, God is light. And let me tell you why. So first of all, the first day, and God said, let there be light. There was light, and God saw the light that it was good, right? Well, we have here in 1 John 1:5. It says, this then is the message which we have heard of him and declared unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. How often throughout scripture has it said that God is light? And this time when I was going through this, I was kind of putting things together. And I'm like, because how can light be made the first day, and the sun and the moon and the stars and all of that be made the fourth day? Because God is light.
Well, maybe since he knew, I mean, this is just me. You know me, how I
Of course.
express myself. I don't mean no ill, to be disrespectful in any way. But it's like, since he knows he's that good that he was like at the moment in time, he figured he'll be a few days later and he'll be a little bit fancy and he knew he had to add a little something.
Some decor.
Yeah.
So it does say in the fourth day that the lights in the firmament of heaven was made to divide the day from the night and to let them be for the signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So that's also something to think about too, because you know how, sailors, for instance, they used to sail across the ocean and the seas looking at the stars. The stars were like their map. When there was the wars going on where there was slavery and people were trying to get to the north, they would look at the North Star to bring them home. The stars in the sky were used as like maps like that. And then the sun. How often do we use the equinoxes, the different equinoxes? Like spring, isn't that an equinox or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that like have to do with like, it's like March 21st is like, is the first day of spring, but why is it the first day of spring? Is it because it's March 21st or is it because there's other things going on in the sky? The sun is at this point, the earth is like at this point, like that is why it is the sun and the moon and the stars were made for signs and seasons. The moon, it goes through its phases. We have a full moon. When it's at its lightest, then we have it goes through the different phases. You have a new moon, there's no light at all. And then in between, it's like the little thumbnails, So it's like, it's used for different signs and seasons. 1 John and 1-5, it says that God is light and in him is no darkness at all. And then in John chapter 1, like not 1 John, I just read 1 John 1-5, but in the book of John chapter 1, in verse 4, it talks about Jesus bringing this light to the world. It was brought to all of us. It says, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. That same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. So all men through Jesus might believe in this light. God is light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. I'm telling you, when I was doing my research, I was like, mind blown. I love this stuff all day long. So God said, let there be light. And remember when Moses, we're going to be reading about him chapters to come here, but remember when Moses went on the mount to talk to God? And his face was glowing because of the brilliance of God. God is light. So the first day, God said, let there be light. And there was light. And then Jesus brought that light to the world. He wanted us to experience it. As believers, we should reflect that light, right? And that's what it says in Matthew, in the book of Matthew. Chapter 5 in verses 14 and 15. It's Jesus speaking at this time because the letters are in red here. And it says, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, put on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Let your light shine. Ye are the light of the world. God is trying to, so Jesus came down to give this light to us, which is God. Lyndon Sun says, Matthew is a gift of God. Yes, absolutely. So we are meant to be the lights of the world. So yes, the first day God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw that light and it was good, and God divided that light from the darkness, and day and night became the first day. And then when we transfer it over to the fourth day, and God made the sun and the moon, did you know that the light of the moon is only a reflection of the sun? So when God says we are the light of the world, and God is light, shouldn't we be little moons and be reflecting that light from God, the light of the sun? That's what we should be reflecting to other people who are not saved. Doing good works does not make us saved. But being a Christian, being a born-again Christian, being saved should make us want to do better. We don't want to stay in our sin. We're not going to be perfect. We mess up. I mess up every single day. I don't know about you, but it does not make us perfect, but we should want to reflect God's goodness to other people. So when I was reading this, that's what I was thinking of, because God is light from the first day, right? And the fourth day, the sun and the moon were just the holders of that light. But the moon only reflects from the sun. So anyways, I thought that was pretty neat. So I'll continue on to the fifth day now. The fifth day is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So God made all the animals on land, in the sea. Fun fact, I just heard this recently, and I'll have to bring this up again when we do Noah's Ark. But people were talking about like, well, how could all the animals that are in the world fit in the boat? Did you hear about this, Damaris?
No, but I myself asked that question a million one times over. Like, how?
Well, I just heard this, and I'm only bringing it up because it's mostly Noah's Ark thing, but it's talking about how God made all the animals. So that's what got me thinking. But whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it makes sense to me. Hear me out. So when God made the animals, there wasn't as many animals as there are today. If you think about it, like
Right.
the dogs, like just as an example, I'm going to use dogs. This goes for all animals, but I'm just using dogs as an example. There weren't house pets, house dogs or whatever. Back when God created them, they were like, dogs are descended from wolves, right? How many more breeds of dogs are around today than there was just 20 years ago? Like, people keep breeding different dogs together to make, like, what is it called? Designer dogs?
Mm-hmm.
So there are breeds today that there weren't breeds 20 years ago. And it's kind of like that with, like, other species of animals. God told them to be fruitful and multiply. They were intermingling and creating a whole new breed. So now there are dozens of different breeds of, no matter what species it is, there's different breeds of cats. There's tigers, lions, all the way down to the house cat, bobcats. There's like so many different cats and everything. But yeah, so I was watching this video, like I said, whether it was like absolutely 100% truth, it does make sense to me, like it could be. So yeah, God created the animals on the ground, in the seas, in the air. God created all of them. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So on the fifth day, that's when he created all of them. And the sixth day, and God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing. Oh, so yeah, the first one was the ocean, huh? Yeah, let the waters bring forth. So the fifth day was all the different animals in the water. And then the sixth day is on earth. Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. and God saw that it was good. So God's like making all of these things. He's making all of these animals. First, he created the environment. He had to make day and night a thing because apparently that wasn't a thing before he. Can you imagine? Day and night wasn't even a thing. God planned out everything to the tiniest detail, which we might think is not important, but is very important. God created everything. So like we try to plan something and that tiny detail is what makes it or breaks it. But God planned everything from the tiniest of details all the way to just everything. He just created everything, the earth, everything, the animals, he created land and the sea and like the top and the bottom. Like he made everything. And if you really think about it, that's a lot. That's a big job. And I think that we take this for granted. We're like, once we read about it, okay, yeah, God created the heavens and the earth. Great. Now what? But have you ever really thought about all that entails? Everything that you have to think about that goes into planning something? And
Just like how, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like, for example, you go to the beach, the shoreline. When you think of it, clearly it's God that keeps that water from not coming in. Because what else is it going to be? Like that. The ocean literally just brushes on the sand and goes back.
Little things you don't think about.
Brushes on the sand and goes back. But he can just snap his finger and it goes.
Yeah.
It can come out at any moment in time. Like, people really don't think about that.
No. I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, how many times, well, like when I was talking about planning something, if you're planning a party, that's very different about planning all this life that's sustainable. Like he was talking about the tree. Did I get there? I don't think I got there yet. Oh yeah, the trees. On the third day, when he brought forth grass and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. Just to have that seed be a part of itself to sustain it so it can keep on growing and growing and growing. That seed falls, it replants itself, it grows up and everything. And can we just talk about, he made food before he made anything to eat the food? Like he was planning. If you think he didn't know what he was doing, I'll tell you right here, clearly he was planning something because he made habitable land that we could live on.
Live on and live off of.
Live on and live off of, yes. And he made everything sustainable. And that was before he made anything, any creatures of the sea, before he made any creatures of the earth. Like, he made food, which I'll talk about in a second, because next, he makes...
And the food was for the animals first before us.
Yes. And next, that's a very good point. So, the creation of man next, in verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female he created. This is why I believe in the Godhead. This is why I believe in the Trinity, the Godhead. Because it says right here, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Some people say he was talking to angels. I don't think so. Because the angels weren't created in God's image. So he's not saying let us make man in our image when the angels were not created in his image. So anyways, that's a little side note. But, and God...
No, right? Because he just... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know, cause it describes it in the Bible, you know, got 10 wings. Each wing has a million eyeballs. Like, that's not human-like. The seraphim, how you say it?
Yes, seraphim.
Yeah. animal, it got a lion's head, different animal heads and body parts. That's not human.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you're on it here.
God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Because at this time, this was before sin came. So everything was sustainable. They didn't have to till the land to make crops grow. Everything was self-sustaining. Everything was sustainable. Like they didn't have to do anything. Everything was given to them. It was a perfect world. All these trees and everything, like they didn't eat meat at this time. It was the vegetables that was the meat. The land is still that way. Yeah, the land is still that way. We could definitely still do it, but we didn't have to farm it so much until after sin came into the world. It wasn't really self-sustaining where we didn't have to do anything. They were still gardeners of a sort, but they didn't have to really labor as hard to get the crops to grow. If it doesn't rain and we have a drought, that's going to affect the crops and they're not going to grow. But it wasn't based on that back in this time. It was more self-sustaining. Everything was perfect. There was the perfect amount of water. It actually says that the water, we're not here yet, but I'll read it. Chapter 2, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Like there was no rain at the time. There was just a mist and it watered everything. Everything was perfect. So it wasn't as hard. We can still definitely get things from the land now, though. Absolutely. So chapter 1, verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. There was nothing, and God made all this stuff, but he had a plan in mind. Like he knew exactly where he was going with this. Like he was creating an environment just for us. Everything was self-sustaining. Back then animals weren't like going to fight you. They weren't going to eat you. We had dominion over the animals. This is before sin came into the world. God made sure we would have everything we needed before he even created us. Like he made sure that he created like the perfect environment for us. And I don't know about you, but that's love. That's love right there. He always said that he would provide for us. Provision is built into creation. I mean, and even in the New Testament, I think, what is it, in the book of Matthew, that it says about if God says that he would take care of the sparrows, of course he's going to take care of you too, right? Like, obviously not verbatim. That's not what it says verbatim, but like, doesn't it say that in Matthew? It is built into the creation story, into this part of the Bible right here, just telling us about creation. He like makes sure before he even makes us that everything is set exactly as it should be, perfectly, so that all he had to do was place us in the environment that he made for us. How beautiful is that? Like he made creation for us. In the providing for us, isn't that also an example of grace? Because what is grace? It's when God gives us something that we didn't earn. Did we earn being created? Did we earn being put in this perfect world that God had built for us? I don't think so. We didn't do anything because we weren't existing at that time. And God did all of this for us. I feel like that's the perfect example of grace, how it's kind of like introduced right here in the creation story. And I don't know about you, but I've missed that point so many times just reading the creation story, I have missed that. He didn't earn it, and he gave it to us. So I'm not going to get too much into chapter 2, but I do want to read the first few verses, because it says in chapter 2, verse 1, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Do you think God needed to rest? Absolutely not. God did not need to rest, but I feel like he did it as an example for us. Not just to rest after a hard day, not just to rest after we've been working and struggling and everything else like that, but rest equals satisfaction, wholeness, and nothing lacking. Like, nothing is lacking. God created all of it, and it was whole. It was complete. He was done. Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? I did everything that needed to be done. It's complete. And then rest. We don't have to keep nitpicking. And because sometimes if we try to like overdo something, I mean, I'm sure we're not trying to overdo it in our minds, but if we try to keep doing something and we keep picking at something, keep trying to make it perfect, even better than it was before, and all of that and everything, sometimes we make it worse. God, after the seventh day, after he created man, he's like, okay, this is complete. It's done. And he rested. Not because he had to, not because he needed to, but everything was done. Nothing was lacking. It was complete. It was whole.